So you just received the ball in the match and you're not sure if you should just pass it right away or take a chance and go on the dribble. Well, in this video, we're going over how to know when to dribble and when to pass. Hey, what's up guys? It's Dave here from SimplySoccer, where we're helping you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. On this channel, we release weekly soccer tips, technique, and training videos, all designed to help you do just that. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss any new videos that we release. Now, today I want to go over a question many of you have asked me, and that is when to dribble and when to pass. Now, there is no perfect answer to this question, but I'm going to give you a few different scenarios of when you most of the time will be passing the ball and most of the time will be dribbling the ball. Let's cover when you should dribble first, then we'll go over when you should pass, and then we'll go over a situation where either of them really could be the best option. So the first one is obvious: when you have plenty of space to work with. If your opponents are affording you a lot of space and you have a lot of space to exploit and move into, you might as well force a defender to come close you down, which means they're going to move away from one of your teammates, and it's also going to mean you can move up further on the pitch. Next, and this is one I really feel players should start dribbling more during, and that is when you have a defender isolated. Look, especially if you're on the wing or in a position where if you beat the defender, you have a chance to create a goal scoring opportunity, I really think you should be dribbling and taking that man on. Sure, you could play safe and turn around and pass it back, but if you run at that defender, dribble at them, try and beat them and put them under pressure, good things will happen. Of course, not every single time, but a lot of times the risk is worth it. Next is when you know you can do damage. When you know you're in a situation that by dribbling, you'll be able to create space, you'll be able to do damage to your opposition or something along those lines. For example, maybe you can just beat someone with speed, get enough space created in order to get in a cross instead of just passing it backwards. That's a situation where maybe you wouldn't beat the defender outright, but you would create enough space through dribbling in order to get your cross away. Or maybe you can use dribbling to create a little more space for a better pass, for example. And really, in general, if you're in the opposition's defensive third and you are in their side of the pitch, and there really isn't much that's going to happen if they steal the ball from you at that point, you can be a little more risky. Now, the times you don't want to be dribbling is in your defensive third, except in certain situations, but in general, you want to not be dribbling in your final third. Again, there are exceptions to this, but in general, you don't want to be dribbling back there. Okay, so those are just a few conditions where you have the option to dribble, and I recommend you dribble. Now we're going to be getting into some of the circumstances that would lead you to passing. Now, the easiest one to go over is when you are under pressure. So for example, if my back is turned and I have a man closing me down, I may want to first time pass it to one of my open teammates or even back to where the ball came from. Again, there are exceptions to this. I might decide to turn him or do something else, but in this case, and you'll see this in professional matches a lot of the time in the midfield, especially where you want to keep the ball, they'll play it back to the passer or find another open man right away with 1 or 2 touches. Next is when you see an opening that a good pass can exploit. For example, your winger is making a run down the line, and if you play just a pretty good ball down that way into his path, he'll have that space to exploit. At that time, even if you have a lot of space around you and no one is closing you down, it would still be advantageous to play that ball so your team can quickly develop a goal scoring opportunity. Another time you generally want to pass is if a defender has cut off the space effectively. Look, if a defender is defending you well, there's no need to unnecessarily take him on. Again, there are exceptions to this. Maybe he's isolated, maybe there isn't much cover behind him, meaning if you beat him, you basically have all this space to work with, but a lot of the time you will find that you need to turn back or play a pass into your midfielder or something of this nature. So if you see that the defender has cut off the space you wanted to get into, it might be a good option to pass the ball off. Okay, so these next few tips are actually going to be for both, meaning dribbling or passing could be effective in these situations depending on what you want to do. The first is follow your instincts. Your instincts, if you've developed them correctly, are rarely wrong. So maybe you know that playing that first time ball is going to be effective even if you have plenty of space and you could dribble into it. Maybe, for example, there is someone closing you down, but you know that you're able to turn them and leave them in the dust. Now, just because I've gone over certain parameters and certain things that work in general doesn't mean there aren't exceptions to the rule, and especially if your instincts are telling you to do something else. So if you're in the opposition's final third, hard, and for example, you're getting closed down and you really feel in your gut that you can turn them because they're not going to get to you in time, go for it. If you feel in your gut that if you play that pass early instead of dribbling, it's going to, exploit the defense and put your teammate in, go for it. Be aware of your instincts and what they're telling you, and don't always fight them. In fact, most of the time, you don't want to fight them at all. Next is mix it up and change between passing and dribbling. You want to be unpredictable. So in some situations where a defender expects you to dribble, maybe you pass instead, and vice versa. When they expect you to pass, you dribble instead. A lot of times I'll be in a situation where I'll make it look like I'm going to pass, only to turn around quickly and face up the defender who was taken aback because they thought I was going to do a simple pass, and then he's suddenly on the back foot. Again, don't do this every single time. You want a level of unpredictability to this, but I'm just trying to prove that not every situation is going to be the same, and even if generally you should do one thing, it doesn't mean you can't do the other. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and share if you enjoyed this content. More to come, and liking and sharing and subscribing helps this channel to grow and helps me to keep releasing videos. I will put 2 videos up on the screen so you can continue watching and learning and becoming a better, more impactful player, and also download my free ebook Game Changer by going in the link in the description. Thanks again guys, and I'll see you in the next video.